Normally, when I'm doing these broadcasts, it's in the evening, meaning nighttime, but not today. Today, I'm with a client and a friend. I'm going to say an old time client, Matt Epps. And I'm sure you guys have seen his Helderburg, which its name is Centurion, but we'll get into that. And I just figured it'd be helpful for you guys to be able to hear from a client about what it means to actually own a classic Land Rover Defender. So, Matt, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for taking
Yeah.
time out of the day.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Good to chat with you today.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Centurion. And one of the biggest questions I get a lot of times is like, where do the names come from? And so I want to make it clear, I didn't come up with this name. I usually come up with the kind of the weird names, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
So I remember the conversation though where you and I were talking about names and what to name it and everything. So tell me about the name, how you came up with that. Because when you said the name, I was like, yes, that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do fondly remember our conversation on the name and the name. I'm a huge history buff, especially Rome and the Roman Empire. And the centurion obviously is the highest ranking military official that a non-Roman citizen could be in the Roman army. And back in the day, late 90s, I played a fair share of video games in between sports and stuff like that. And Centurion was my, I guess, username, my handle. So it stuck with me. And then when we were putting this build together, Centurion's been, a name that my wife actually reminded me of, and it fit, and you enjoyed it as well. So that's where it came from.
Cool. And now which is really cool because you have your own Instagram channel, or I should say Centurion has its own Instagram
It
channel,
does, yeah, it
which is
does.
so your Defender's taken on its own personality, its own persona, more or
There
less.
are people that know me by Scent. They call him Centurion. Is shortened for Scent, and they know Scent more than they know Matt.
It's kind of like me. People know Lucy, but they don't know my name. They know
Yeah,
my dog, but they don't know
yeah.
me. I don't know what
A lot
that's.
of dog lovers out there, Paul. Don't take it personally.
All right, good, good. Yeah, for real. She is the star of the show, so there you
She
go.
is. She is.
Exactly. So let's talk about because I remember the conversation well too when you called me and you told me that you were interested in a Land Rover Defender. You wanted a classic Land Rover Defender. I guess give us some or give everybody some background on that because I know you were kind of maybe going, I don't know if I want a classic vehicle after you had some experiences and stuff. But not
Yeah.
mean that negative, but just I'll let you talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think it's a good story to tell for some folks that are potentially looking at a Helderberg. So again, backtrack to COVID. I have 8-year-old twins. They're 8 now. Back when you and I initially started talking, I think they were about maybe 4 or 5 years old. Um, and wanted to have something fun. My son's a big was a big is a big car guy. Like riding in the car with daddy with the windows down. So I was looking for something that would bring me that experience. Initially started looking at the Jeep Wranglers because I wanted something that had a soft top. Um, but I'm also I was at a point in my life and career where I wanted something that was really different and distinctive. And there's just a million Jeeps out there. Nothing against a Jeep Wrangler, but they're everywhere. And so my initial search, Paul, started looking at the old FJs, the FJ40s, and the old Land Cruisers back in the late 70s, early 80s. Looked at them pretty extensively, but I'm 6'2", and I couldn't get in it. I test drove 4 or 5 ones that had been redone, and they were just too small. They weren't as comfortable. Leaf spring, just the suspension wasn't there. And so a buddy of mine had a North American Series Defender, and I took a ride with him, Paul, and was like, "Oh, I remembered Defenders from the '90s, and I had a guy in my high school that was a friend of mine had a North American Series, so it came into the forefront. Well, even then, though, I wanted something different. I still wanted North American Series were cool. Wasn't a big fan of that engine, a little anemic. But I wanted something different, so I started looking around, talking with a few builders, and then Helderburg. I think it was either Facebook or Instagram is where I first saw I think it was Herod, your D110 double cab,
Oh yeah, the double
and
cab.
that's like I think that's the first one that I saw and was like, now that's different, that's cool. And so the Defender came into motion after some research, and then it was just a call with you saying,
Yeah.
let's talk.
Yeah, I remember that too. And I remember you talking about the FJ and stuff because I've always loved the FJs, but it was like a love-hate relationship with those, and I've done a couple of those over the years. But yeah,
Yeah,
and then I remember too when you come to visit me, which was really awesome. Which you're going to have to do that again, of course.
absolutely. Yeah, the
But
visit was fantastic. It
yeah,
it it really solidified all the marketing and all the things that I saw online. It was real and it was true, and the passion and the quality into the build with the ones that we drove. Again, at the time, I think Herod was here, and Enzo was here, and I can't remember another one, but yeah, the visit was great.
yeah, I remember Enzo because we took it out in the woods, didn't we? We went out for some.
Yeah, I have video on my phone still where you did not hold back. You were like, "Let me show you." We went up some side of some cliff. I mean, we were slinging rocks and you were ripping. So yeah, we took it off road for sure.
Which is funny. It brings me to the point. So just recently we were featured in the Robb report, as you well know, and we'll talk about that. But the rider came out and still winter here just recently.
Hmm.
And I hopped in the Vincent Red, the D90 with the new engine, and I just hammered down the driveway, going sideways down the driveway. And I'm looking at his face, and it was like one of those, oh my God moments. It hit the end of the driveway, rolled down the road, rolling down the road like Mach 3. He's sitting back like that. And I'm thinking, all right, well, there's some really good snow there. And I took off the road and buried it in the snowbank. I mean, over the hood, everything. And he just looks at me. He's like, wow, you're not scared to use these, are you? And I was like, ah, that's what it's for. And he just kind of looked at me and said, well, I think we're stuck. What are we going to do now? And I said, no worries. We've got more in the garage. So, yeah, but might
That's
as well use it.
fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
So, talking about the Robb report, what you think about that? Did you did you just see me post it, or when did you come across that? Where Centurion, your Defender, is the featured vehicle on the Robb report?
Yeah, hey, it's I don't want to sound corny,
Sound corny.
but you know what? Out of all the Defenders that you had to choose a picture from that you've built over the years, the fact that Centurion was front and center of that report was pretty damn cool. I mean,
Yeah.
there were a lot of my friends got tired of the text and the Instagram shares, the picture, because I took a snapshot. I first saw it on the Land Rover group page, the North American Land Rover group page is where I think I first saw it, where it was showcased, and that was I mean, honestly, it really was cool that, again, out of all the choices you had and that your writer probably had to choose from, y'all chose Centurion with its look and its stance, and it's a stubby bulldog. Like, it's not it's that's his look, and it was pretty cool.
Well, I remember because it was wintertime when we completed it, and me
Yep.
just driving it through the snow and all that. And I was so thankful we had snow because then I wasn't getting any mud on it or anything like that. Because I'm sure you would have not appreciated that. But anyway, but
Yeah.
which is interesting. So what I did, the writers, so the Robb report is the ones that chose that because I gave them a list of builds and they chose yours. I mean, of course, yours was one of them that I provided. And when that came back, and when they, because I didn't get this, they wrote the article, I didn't get to do anything. It just, when it was done, they sent it to me and said, this is what's publishing tomorrow
Yeah.
morning. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was cool. Hey, they got good taste. What can I say?
That's what I'm thinking. Exactly.
What is that? A billionaire taste, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
it is. No kidding. Yeah, some of the stuff in the Robb report, definitely. No doubt.
amazing, amazing publication. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what do your friends think about it? I know you got to get some grief and all that, but which is all in good fun. I mean, we like to razz one another, but what do your friends think? What's some of the stories you got from that?
What do they think of Centurion?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? He's a hit. I mean, he really is. I I can't tell you, Paul. I mean, again, during our build, and we went through some delays with COVID. I mean,
Yeah.
um, I have met some of the best people and people that I would call close friends that I did not know that Centurion brought into my life. And it is he is a discussion point. He is something that when I take to a car show or I'm out on a date night with my wife, like I don't mind talking about him because the people that are interested in him, it's great conversations. I'm in sales and it's just a great networking and people are really, really excited to talk about him. I have a lot of car friends, both old friends and new ones I met with Centurion, and he just is a great discussion point. I have I have met other defender guys and gals, and Centurion transcends um, not just Defender people. Real quick anecdote, went to my first car show with Centurion to a exotic car show in North Carolina, and I was the only SUV invited, and I had to get approval to come, and I'm parking beside Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsche GT3 RSs, extremely, extremely expensive cars. And Centurion was the only SUV in the entire lineup. It's a little later down on my Instagram page, but it's there. And he stole the show. People came and talked about that Defender more than any of those Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Porsches and Alfa Romeos. Like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And car people know a good quality car, and it's been that. And my friends love it. They love riding in it. They love to see, how he's doing. And again, sometimes I get phone calls because I moved here recently in the last year from where I had been for many many years. And my friends call me up, and the first thing they say is not how Matt's doing. It's how's the truck? You driving the truck? How's he doing? And I'm like, he's good. He's good. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. You bring up an interesting point too, because I mean, you know, I'm sure I told you originally, I'm like, all right, if you're going to go somewhere, you need to take extra time because people are going to come up, complete strangers. They're going to want to ask you. They always ask too, it seems. They always say, do you mind if I take a picture? But and I think people think that's just part of my sales pitch or something, but I'm being 100% sincere that that's what happens. And and I mean, would you agree? It's women, it's older women, it's younger women, it's older men, younger men, kids. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, it's just,
You are telling the truth. Again, I do remember being a little skeptical of that. I was like, but it's better than any puppy you could have. Like, you know, it is a talking piece. People do not see them. They do not know what it is at times. I've had people literally come up to me, even at a car show. I just went to one here recently and took him. It was an off-road car show only, and people still didn't know exactly what it was. It said Defender across the hood because I chose Defender instead of Land Rover, which was a great decision because
yeah,
it says Defender on it. But anyway, it is a talking point. People want to come ask you questions, and 99% of the time, it's genuine interest in something that they just do not see or have never seen in their life. So it's cool. You're 100% right.
yeah. And I'm sure you get the occasional nice Jeep.
Yeah, I've had a few ducks left on my windshield over owning it. I assume positive intent. Nobody's being, facetious, but yeah, I've got a couple of ducks. I politely threw them in the trash. Land Rover, yeah, we're not Jeeps, but yeah, a few
Yeah, we're not
ducks.
ducks. We don't do the
Yeah.
duck. But it is cool in driving down the road and here comes the Jeep guy come the other way and you get the wave. It's kind of, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, yeah, that's probably the one area we're a little uppity as Defender owners. We're a little snot. We're a little bougie there, Paul. We're not waving to the Jeep guys, you know.
Nah, yeah, I guess I could see that, but I have to admit, I mean, I really do, that when the Jeep guys wave at me, I always wave back because I know it's just a matter of time before I have to pull one of them out of the snow.
Uh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I had one guy, a friend of mine, he went out and bought his Jeep, whatever the Jeep is with all the crazy stuff on it. That's supposed to be the crazy off-roader. I can't think of what it's even called, but the top dog Jeep. Um, I don't even know what it's called, but anyway,
Rubicon, maybe, or I think
Rubicon.
it's the
That's it, a
Rubicon. Yeah.
Rubicon with all the power that disengages all the little whatever and all that stuff and the lockers and all that. And rolling down my road over here, he gets stuck and he calls me and he's like, "Can you come pull me out?" And he was stuck. And I pulled up, put a strap on it, pulled him right out. And I shot a video. I think that video got about 100,000 views. So,
You might have had some not safe for work comments on that one, right? Like,
yeah.
they get pretty defensive about their Jeeps,
Yeah,
but
he
it's
got
all
on it.
good. Hey, you know what? They're passionate about their vehicles too, which I can appreciate
Yeah.
and love. You know, it's good. It's all love. It's not
It
hate.
really is. And I mean, I think it's all about just getting out and enjoying nature. And it doesn't make a difference if you're in a Land Rover series, a Jeep, or, a whatever. And so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're all.
absolutely. Yeah.
So tell me, who spends the most time with you when you are driving your Defender?
Oh, um, my daughter. My daughter. She is the epitome of a daddy's girl. And she loves Centurion and she loves to jump in him and go. And again, you see, some of the back to the Instagram pages, like the ones most of the time she's with me in the front seat and driving along and just enjoying with the windows down and bebopping down the road. So yeah, she wins the attendance award for most Centurion rides.
Does she ever say, "Can we go pick up so and so?" And that's like a special treat and everything too?
You know what? No, honestly, without sounding, it's that's our time. Like, and
Oh,
she just really enjoys our time. Again, I travel a bit with my job, and it's been pretty chaotic there the last couple years. And Centurion is our let's get away time. We cruise around some back roads, and we live now in the foothills, North Carolina, so we kind of hit a little bit of that. And she just enjoys daddy time.
oh,
She likes putting her hand, Paul. She likes putting her hand on my hand and changing the gears.
oh.
Like she just really likes doing that. And then she's getting to the point now where I put the clutch in, obviously, but she changes the gears. So, yeah, it's good stuff, and that's what we've been doing with Centurion since we got him.
So how much longer before she's going to be driving manual transmission?
Ooh, I tell you what, I hope it's soon. I hope it's soon. I want all my children to know how to drive a stick shift. I really hope that that's a part of automobilia that does not go away permanently.
Yeah,
I know it's tough to get these days, but she will absolutely learn how to drive a stick.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Boy, it looks like she's growing fast too. So it's only a matter of,
yeah, yeah. They do. They do. You blink, right?
yeah. Oh, because it seems like yesterday that we were just, I mean, it seems like maybe a year and a half ago, we were designing your Defender, and it was much longer than that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've delivery was 2022, three. I can't remember. I should know
Yeah.
that. I should have prepared for this call, but I
Yeah.
don't exactly remember. But it's longer than it seems. But yeah, they were young.
Yeah. Oh. Mm. So let's talk about the design because
Yeah.
that's always a lot of fun. That's what I really enjoy a lot. I think that's why I do what I do. It's just the design. So tell me what came to mind. I mean, we can definitely talk about colors and the grill and the soft top and the stance and all that, but what came to mind? What was it that you envisioned? Because I mean, you really did the design. I mean, I was just there to kind of guide it a little bit, not
Yeah,
in
you
detail.
and again, it was very collaborative. we had some friendly disagreements. You're an artist, and every artist has their own vision. But I do appreciate. But at times, I appreciated your hey, think about this, because I didn't know everything. I mean, you're the kind of the guru there. But yeah, it was fun. The design was fun. Understanding the different elements that I could do if I wanted to do in areas where it was really cool, and maybe I didn't decide to go that route. Um, I was very, very focused on the D90. Absolutely wanted a soft top. Absolutely wanted a classic color. So the chorus gray obviously is a classic color, but it's done Helderburg style. I mean, the paint job is immaculate. Um, it pops. It's got a bit of that metallic. It's shiny. It's beautiful. I wanted again that kind of British bulldog stance. I wanted the wheels, and I wanted the tough tread on the tires. I was a big fan of the grill, of the Con grill. I really liked how you could get the black and the coarse gray built in. A lot of the grills at the time was the big custom mesh grill, which looks great, but I wanted that. The Con grill just for me stood out.
Yeah.
I remember you and I having a conversation that the Con grill, it comes out a bit on the front, but the offset of that Weller wheel with the big tire on the back, when we put it all together, man, it really was balanced. And I think maybe it might have been one of your first D90s at the time that had that, but it came out so nice. That custom front bumper with a pop of red on the tow hooks, and how we tied that in with the red silicone on the inside. I mean, I popped that hood, and I mean, people are like, did you ever drive this thing? And I'm like, well, yeah. And I'm like, but that's really what I wanted, something different. Again, I wanted people to say this is not your everyday Defender. And that was kind of the idea behind I'm a black and gray and silver guy. Um, you know, my current I got a 2023 D110. It's
Nice.
Carpathian gray,
Yep.
with the supercharged V8. So I like gray, and you
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah. So how often do you take the top off?
Um, I gotta be honest, Paul. I have never fully taken it off other than one time. Um, I the way I have the full doors that
Yep.
roll down. I roll the sides up. I roll that back up. I roll those doors down. I pop the vents open and I go, man. And it's like a nice bikini top, and it gives me everything I need on a top down.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it when I did it, but I mainly run it like that in the summer and spring and early fall. I don't. I leave the top on. Again, kiddos riding in it, but I have those side gaps rolled up consistently, letting that air go through there.
Yeah. Well, and it seems too when you roll the side windows up and you roll the back window up, it gets quieter inside than when they're down.
It's got a different element to it for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
And I don't know. I mean, I feel like that soft top you put on mine was one of the first iterations that still had the porticos and the soft top. So I
yes.
still get nice light coming in from that. I mean, it's a nice feel. It's not it just feels like a nice bimini or a bikini top. It doesn't feel like a full soft top when it's all rolled up. So it's a nice touch.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, with the Alpine windows that are built into the soft top, which is really
Right. Yep.
unique. Yeah, I could see how it'd make you feel like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about feelings. And I try to talk to some people about this, and I think some people get it and some people don't. But let's just talk about feelings and emotions and get kind of poetic here in a way, I guess you could say, or weird. Uh, when you're driving, do you feel different? If that makes sense. Am I
No,
making sense?
I get it. It is an experience, and it's an experience every time I get in it. And I'll tell your listeners why. Um, it's focused on driving. It is not focused on all these controls on the steering wheel and all of this, it's got the Apple CarPlay and all that, but it's got the wood steering wheel with the rivets in it, and you got to concentrate on changing the gears, and it's got a nice sound with the radio, but even that, like it is focused to driving. Like it's like other older vehicles that you're there for that experience, and I do feel different in it. Again, it's unique. You never see them. People turn their heads. Scent's he's lifted. He's an easy driving car as far as he's got a nice suspension. He's got the Fox shocks. But he asked you to drive him. You
Mhm.
have to, you need to pay attention to what you're doing and really enjoy that experience. And it's built around that. Every every sense of touch, from the aluminum gear shifter again to the steering wheel and the finish in that wheel, Paul. It is an experience every time you get in it. The sounds of the diesel, the spooling up of the turbo, banging through the gears, getting on it when you want to. I just enjoy it. It is, and I drive it. I don't drive it a ton. I drive it enough to where when I do drive it, it feels like it's brand new, and
Yeah.
that's it's still got that feeling. It still, after all this time, smells like the finest Rawlings baseball glove, right? It still has that smell to it. And that's what it's about for
Yeah.
me. And yeah,
Because I've had a number of clients too that would say that it allows them to relax. It allows them to slow down, think, feel creative. In fact, I just had one gentleman that just received his, and he said, "This is the first time in years that I've been able to, that my wife went with me. We were able to actually slow down. I wasn't on the phone. I wasn't doing hands free. I wasn't doing all this, and we just had a conversation and laughed."
yeah, yeah. Taking it on many a date nights. Um, I do enjoy when the valets can't drive it, and I have to go valet it myself because it's
Yeah.
but yeah, many a date night. My wife and I have connected in it. We enjoy it. He truly is a part of the family, and again, car people get that. Like when you have a piece of equipment that's that special to you, farmers sometimes feel that way about the tractor. We feel that way about our pets. You're a motorcycle guy as well. You probably have had a bike or two in your life where you're just like, man, that bike, I'll never sell that bike. He is a part of the family. We talk about him like he's one of the members of the family. We use it like he's my son. And so yeah, I understand what you're saying, Paul, and hopefully
Yeah.
and in explaining it in a way that your listeners understand.
So we pretty much kind of covered this, but I kind of want to cover it one more time in a way, and kind of a direct question for you, really. It's like, how's owning your Helderberg changed your life? If it has, and if it hasn't, just say you're crazy. But has it changed your life and like the way you experience things and things that you like to do?
Yeah, great question. I with 100% honesty can tell you it has changed my life. And I'll give you two examples of that. Again, when I first got it, um, the the number of people that I have met when I was living in Raleigh through Helderburg, I truly met some new friends, experienced some new things that are still my friends today, and really was connecting with an echelon of people, successful business people, successful folks, and whatever they had done in lives. I enjoyed, finer things like cars, nice watches, whatever. And it changed me in a good way. Not changed me, but it impacted my network of friends, things I was talking about, things I was doing. I met a lot of great people, and it's a lot of it. I got to attest to some of those meetings that started with them saying, "That's a fine piece of machinery. Let's talk. I want to get to know the guy that bought that." Fast forward, the last year I made a career change, had to move from Raleigh to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is about two and a half, 3 hours away. I came here very focused on work, not really knowing anybody, having a network of friends like I did in Raleigh. So Centurion was the way that helped me kind of grow that. I went to some car shows. I went to some events, um, and I've met several good friends now that I was at Christmas parties with them. I would have never met Paul. I'm in a new city, in a new state, I'm in a new county within my state. I'd have never met him without Centurion. I would have never grown that friend network as fast as I had if I had not had Centurion. I'm grateful for those guys. I was just hanging out with them. They're Ferrari guys, they're Corvette guys, but they love Centurion, and it truly has helped this transition for me and my family. And so again, I would not have been able to do that without Centurion and him being the touching off point for a great conversation. So those are two hopefully good
Yeah,
examples of
that
how
really
how
is.
he's changed my life.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I really like about Land Rover and the brand and the Defenders and everything, that it's not a pretentious, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but if you roll up in a G Wagon, it's a completely different persona versus
Yeah,
you roll up into a Land Rover Defender, a classic one that is. And I mean,
yeah.
or even the new one you have too.
It's a bit diffusing when you just say, yeah, it's an old farm truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then they look at the badge on the side, and then they go to the website and they go, "Oh, well, you
Yeah,
paid that?" And you're like, "Oh, I got it early."
yeah. Key.
Exactly. No, I didn't pay that for it. I got it years ago. Yeah, yeah,
Call Paul. Call
yeah.
Paul.
Football, football. So yeah. Uh, one of the biggest questions we always have, I mean, not we, but the brand Land Rover itself, is maintenance and reliability. So
Mm.
tell me about that. Just what have you done to it? What have you had to do? What have you had to fix?
Um, I've had to fix nothing. I've done oil change.
Yeah.
That's it. Um, you know, there's it's like it's there's a slight drift every now and then, like every other Land Rover Defender that I've ever seen,
Yep.
from every other builder, and but again, even that is, I've done an oil change and a tune up and flush, and that's it. There's been nothing else that I've done to him at all. Still have the again, I've got several thousand miles on him since we bought him, but he's I changed the windshield wiper blades, Paul, and that's about it. Even though he's never been in the rain but once, but still,
And that was by
um,
accident. And you're like, oh crap.
yeah, I'm like, oh no, turn around, let's go home. Nah, he's been in the rain, but that's it. It's been very dependable. Again, um, not that miles per gallon is something that you go chase a defender for, but man, he's even with the big knobby tires and the transmission. I mean, like he's built for torque and all of that. Like he still cruises around at a pretty substantial MPG. He's better than my Raptor. Like he does fine. So
Yeah.
really, maintenance has been very very low. And I'm and it's been what I expected.
Yeah. It's it is crazy how fuel efficient they are. I mean, it's unreal.
Hmm.
And my need to stop and pee way outweighs the
Need to
range.
fill up.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
So yeah, so I
exactly.
can't use that excuse.
Yeah.
But so, and I maybe or maybe not, but can you recall one unforgettable conversation you've ever had that you've met somebody that's just like, I'll never forget this conversation for the rest of my life.
Around the Defender or
Just
just in general?
well, that you ran into somebody because of the Defender or a car show or anything, that somebody that was just a standout person, memorable person. So it doesn't really have to be about the Defender at all.
Mm.
I'm just wondering if you ever met anybody that you're like, wow, this is like one of the coolest people I've ever met. Or they told you some kind of crazy story that you're like, wow, I'll never forget this one.
I mean, one of the coolest guys I've ever met, it unfortunately was not a Defender story, was Don Johnson. I spent, Don Johnson from
Yeah,
Miami Vice, from
yeah,
Django, from I spent 3 hours in an American Airlines club sitting beside him one on one talking about Don Johnson. He asked me more about me than I could him, but that was an unbelievable moment of time sitting there talking to him, and we did talk about cars because Miami Vice is full of 80s like
Yeah.
icon cars. Um, Related to Centurion, I don't really. I mean, the gentleman wasn't famous. He wasn't any of that. But what he did do is he came up to me and it was at a car show, and he just was walking around my Defender, and he just had a different look about him, Paul, and I could see he was looking straight through it, and he was deep in thought, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "What do you think?" And he looked up with me, and then he wasn't crying at all, but he had this wonderful English accent, and he said him and his pops had a Defender, and he remembered his dad through the Defender, and he had a D90, and it was chorus gray, and he lived near Birmingham, and he just went down this story of the memories that standing there looking at mine brought back to him, and I was floored. He connected with it, and it was just because it reminded him of his dad, who was no longer with him, who was
Yeah.
passed away, and I was like, that was cool. I mean, it was cool for him. It was really cool for me, and we had a good little conversation about it. And I opened the hood and showed him it was still the 300 TDI, and he just was like, we had the same engine, and it was great. And
Yeah.
that's probably one of the most memorable conversations I had with a gentleman about related descent.
Yeah. Do you still talk to Don, by the way?
Oh, he's actually DJ is how
Oh, DJ.
he wanted me to refer to him as DJ.
Okay, awesome.
Um, no, Don went on to other things, and I gave him my business card, but I haven't heard back from him yet. I'm still waiting. Any day
Yeah.
now, any
Well,
day
maybe
now.
he'll watch this and reach out to you and stuff.
Hey,
Yeah.
if he buys a Helderberg, I want some sort of commission.
No
Okay, you
doubt.
need to you need to
No
help me
doubt.
out there. Okay.
So you have a D90, so that's what you wanted setting out. Does the D90 work for the family?
Um, it still does. It still does,
You
but
have
my
how many kids?
I got two kids,
Two
twins,
kids.
boy girl twins, and they're 8 now, and they're eating me out of house and home already. We're not a small family as far my family's all, I'm the shortest at 6'2", and so my son's starting to shoot up, and it still works. They climb in the back, and they sit there facing each other, and they seat belt in. It still works for now for us. I live vicariously through your new customers, and I see some of your new builds and the 110 double cab, and I'm going to tie that back to Herod, though. That's Herod's fault. That was the first one
Yeah.
I drove when I test, and there might be one of those in my future. I hope my wife doesn't watch this and see this, but it works for now. But I do think maybe in the near future a 4-door with the back seat would might be a little better suited for us. But for now, we're enjoying them, and they still love sitting there staring at each other in the back seat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think the reason that we use the bulldog term so much is because Herod, that 110, that's what I refer to as the bulldog because it was short, squatty,
Hmm.
and just bulldog like and drove like a bulldog in the sense that just like plowed through anything.
Yeah, he was. That was a fun one. I really liked that one, and it was gray too. I don't know if it was chorus gray, but it was a great rig,
Yeah,
great rig.
Havana. It was a Havana bronze, which is a gray. I
Yeah,
think it's called bronze, but it was a Havana, is what it was, which is kind of a deeper coarse gray. So yeah,
yeah.
that's I missed that one.
I
That one's
bet.
actually
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'm sure he's having fun whatever home he's at.
Yeah, somewhere in California where unlike where I'm at with snow. The snow is supposed to be here tomorrow, and here it is. It's only what, March 20th? I guess we got another month.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's going to be in the 60s here. Sorry, hate to throw that on you, but
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. So planning any road trips with your
absolutely.
Defender?
Yeah, so good. Very excited to be going down to the Low Country Series. It's a bunch of Land Rover enthusiasts down in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm really excited to take Centurion down there and showcase him to that event. I know a couple guys that went last year and had a great time. So that's about a 4-hour drive
Mhm.
meandering down from North Carolina into Charleston, South Carolina. So I'm super excited to get him in some of the old cobblestone streets in Charleston and loving. I'm gonna love some of the pictures that I hope to get out of that
Yeah.
trip. But really looking forward to that. Um, and this weekend, so I'm a bachelor this weekend. My kids and wife are at the beach, so I think I might go grab Scent and head up to the mountains. And we have the Blue Ridge Parkway here in North Carolina, and that's
Yep.
a wonderful road to cruise on, regardless if you're in a Porsche or you're in a Defender. And so I might cruise around up there for a day or two and just see what I can get into and, enjoy some of the nice early spring weather.
I'm surprised the wife didn't take your Defender to the beach.
Yeah, she has the new Defender. She's so partial with that. She won't, that's her car. So she took the new one down there. That one's got, the big V8, Paul, so she can rip. And
Yep.
yeah, she didn't want to take Centurion. She also, again, she can't drive a stick. So that's a little bit of a barrier of entry to her driving
That's a good
driving
barrier too,
Centurion.
is what I'm hearing from clients that some of their wives can't drive sticks. In fact, I sold one to a gentleman recently. We built it for his wife, and she can drive a stick, but he can't.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's probably a first for you.
that's a
It's the wife's Defender.
complete
That's
first.
that's
Yes.
fantastic. Good for her.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped about that. I
I
was pretty
bet you were.
excited. So yeah, because he was asking about going, hey, can we get an automatic in that? And she said the answer is no, absolutely no. So yeah,
Yeah,
quite the personality on these two. And
absolutely, absolutely.
so if you could do any road trip in the world, anywhere you wanted to go, any idea where you would go with your Helderberg?
Ooh, what a great question. Um, you know, I spent some time in the UK last year. I was there for 2 weeks for work and pleasure. And I was there and I rented a Defender D90, a new one, but I had a Defender, of course, when I'm running around England for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I learned of there's a nice route that runs up through Scotland and comes around the northern end of England. And I was looking at some of that and talking with some of the guys that have done that in their vehicles. And I would love to have my Defender in England cruising around in the wilds of northern England, Scotland. I think that would be a tremendous road trip. Um, in the United States, like I mentioned earlier, the Blue Ridge Parkway and Skyline Drive that runs into Virginia. If you've
Mhm.
never been on it, is an amazing road to drive. And I'm lucky to be living near there, and that's really a dream stretch of asphalt that I'm lucky to be close to. So those are my two.
That'd be awesome. I think we need to do a Defender rally and have clients from the past. We all come together and we just do a long road rally.
That'd be great. I'm down with
Road
that.
and off road, though, combination.
Yeah, down with that. Let me
Yeah.
know.
Maybe go to Colorado, do the backcountry discovery routes, or Utah or something like that.
Unfortunately, Centurion's been a bit of a pavement princess. Like
Yeah.
he's hit some dirt roads and some gravel, but he has there's no tree pinstriping down the side of his doors. I know he can do it. Trust me, no doubt about that. But he's a bit of an asphalt guy these days.
Maybe mix it up a little bit and it'll all be good.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Matt, I appreciate it. So, where can people follow Centurion? Let's talk about that. Where
Yeah,
the social?
yeah. So on Instagram, it's cent underscore D90, CENT underscore D90. Again, I'm not breaking any Instagram records, but we have a good time. And just know that my little girl helps me pick out some of the music. She loves reading the comments that see what people say. But yeah, if you want to see more of Scent's adventures, he's Instagram's really the page
Yeah.
at Scent D90. Yeah,
And next time you go to England, let me know because I'd love for you to go to the shop and just get one of the ones that we're building and take it on a journey around Scotland and the
yeah,
Cotswold and all that stuff. So we've
yeah.
had a
I'd love
couple.
to take you up on that offer. I plan on being over there again probably by the end of this year or something. So that'd be fantastic. I'd love to do that. Even just to ride a new one around a bit would be fantastic. Yeah,
Well, let me know.
yeah,
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And
yeah.
I don't have anything else. I mean, I think you told us everything we need to know and more.
Well, you
So
got to tell me what you got on your wrist. What? You're a watch guy, and I saw something that looks very nice on there. I'm just curious what you rocking today.
oh, it's just a just a little keepsake, little watch, just
A
little nothing much.
little nothing much. Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
just because I am a kind of I guess you could say a Patek freak. So just
Oh wow. Okay, I
little
got you.
little Patek Grand
Hey, well,
complication.
that'll. I mean, it's not a Casio, but it'll get it done. It'll tell time,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean, it's you know not a Tudor or an Omega or something like that. I mean, one of these days I'm gonna get one of those. And I mean, you would think that I would be wearing an Omega since I like Land Rovers and
Yeah,
James Bond and all that, but
yeah. That's okay.
old
That's
man
okay.
watch.
Yeah. Nah. Again, unique,
Yes,
unique. I
unique.
love it.
Right.
No, I appreciate your time, Paul. Again, thanks so much for me allowing just a few minutes to share, with your audience what it means to have a vehicle like this and what it, again, if what it can mean to you and a family or, just even without a family, what it can do to somebody and the doors it can open to meeting people and adventures. So appreciate your time.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you much.
Yeah, thank you.